Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a what's in my makeup bag video, specifically looking at the makeup bag of products that I use every day. This is a follow-on piece actually from a blog post that I wrote back in January, I think. So some of these products are the same, some of them have changed just from things that I've tried out and kind of added in as the months have gone by. But as I say, some of them, if you have read that post, you will be familiar with them, because they're kind of cult favourites that I probably won't change for a while. First things first, I'm going to start with the primer that I use every day. I've been getting into primers actually, and I can't really deviate from the Benefit That Girl primer. It says it's a brightening face primer, and I really do notice that actually when you put it on your skin just has this kind of glow about it. Not in the way of a highlighter, but it just looks healthy. It also smells incredible. It smells of raspberry. Obviously the job of a primer is to create a really lovely base for your makeup to go onto and for the makeup to actually last as long as possible. And for me, I've tried a couple and this really does come out on top for me. So I've been using this for about a year now. It's just above £20 I think roughly, but really worth it. I love this. The next product, and I'm going in order of how I would actually apply the products, would be foundation. Again, a bit of a loyal favourite for me. It's the Clarins True Radiance Foundation. It's got an SPF 15 and a nice kind of dewy finish, and it's not too heavy on the skin. I really like Clarins as a go-to skincare brand, and this I think was the first makeup product that I tried from them, and I just really love it. It's just a really good all-round foundation. This lasts quite a while as well. It comes with a pump on it, so it's really easy to kind of use. You don't have to fish around for product, which is good. And this comes in, I think, at about £27 or £28. So for a kind of luxury-ish brand in terms of makeup, that's pretty reasonable in my eyes. Having said that, so I do like to try new things, and one of the foundations that I have tried is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation. It's been getting really positive reviews, so it looks like this. And do you know what, so far I really do like it. It's quite different from the Clarins one, so this is a bit more of a full coverage foundation and a kind of demi matte finish, if you like, so good for oily skin and dry skin, whereas the other one that I use, the Clarins, is a little bit more of a day-to-day lighter look. I'm trying this out. I'm kind of alternating it between the days and seeing how it feels. It does feel lovely on the skin, but as I say, if you want a full review of this, head over to the blog. I'll link it below. As well as foundation, I do quite like a concealer. I think under the eyes it's quite beneficial in terms of just brightening things up. I actually normally opt for the MAC, can you see that? It's the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. Now, throw everything you know about the Studio Fix foundations out the window. I kind of judged this before I tried it, thinking it was going to be really strong on my face. I'm not the biggest fan of the Studio Fix foundation. I actually couldn't have been more wrong. This is really lovely. It's very soft and quite creamy, so it works really well under the eyes, but kind of dab rather than spread, otherwise you can get quite a thick finish. I've gone for an NW shade. I normally am an NC in MAC, but when you are trying to use things to brighten things up, I've actually been told to avoid yellow tones. I don't know if that's a kind of generic tip or just for my sort of skin tone, but I've stuck with it and so far so good. Really like this. It's nice and neat as well. It's quite compact, so very good to just keep in your bag for kind of touch-ups throughout the day. This is my go-to concealer at the moment. I am currently trying the Collection Lasting Perfection, I think it's called, the concealer. I hadn't actually tried it before. It's more of a low-cost brand compared to MAC, but I have been using that, so maybe the MAC foundation, the MAC concealer might get switched out. We'll wait and see on that, but if it does, I will report back. Once I have done my concealer and foundation, I typically actually go straight to my cheeks and worry about my eyes later. My go-to product is a Dior compact. They call it the Dior Skin Nude Tan, and it's in the shade Light. And it's really a nice compact, so you've got some nice kind of bronze colours, some deep warm tones, but then mixed with some orange and apricot in there. So actually I find that this is a great 2-in-1 product, because then I don't need to wear blush. Really all I tend to do is apply it in a 3 shape, so you get a bit of contour even when you're not trying, and just to highlight the cheekbones and to warm around the face. I find this really effective. And I really love this. This is great, and it comes in the kind of classic dual pouch, so a really good handbag product as well as just a generic makeup bag product. Once my base and cheeks are done, I do move on to my eyes, and I probably do this all in the wrong order, but it's just what's worked for me over the years and what I've kind of become accustomed to, really. I'm a bit of a brow fanatic. I really, really believe in the power of good eyebrows, which sounds ridiculous, but for quite a few years I didn't care about them, and then I did, and really they do transform your face. So they just frame everything. Anyway, the product that I use as a go-to is Benefit's BrowZings. I'm covering it because it's really messy. You can see how well used this is. So it's got a wax and a powder. This is actually in the shade Dark. They have a light and a medium as well. And also I've lost the additional bits, but they do come with little mini tweezers and 2 brushes as well. I don't typically use those little ones. I actually use a longer one, a longer handled brush, just because I find it easier to use and control. But they're great if you're starting out and you're just trying the product and you don't really want to invest in a bigger brush to start with. That's absolutely fine. When I do my brows, I think I'm going to do a brow tutorial separately, but just as a kind of intro, I normally get a bit of both on the brush, tap off the excess, and then drag through the brows. I've kind of got this down quite quickly now because I do it every day. So I was in Superdrug today and I noticed that Sleek Makeup have got what pretty much looks like an exact copy of BrowZings. So I might try that. I don't think it's going to replace this, but we'll see. We can try them out and see how we get on. For me, it is just the best product. Actually, Benefit in general just can't be beaten on their brow products. They've got everything from highbrow, highlighter that you put underneath your brow, right the way through to things that you drag through with kind of spoolies. I just think they're fantastic for brow products. If you haven't tried them, do check them out. After doing my eyebrows, I then move on to any kind of eyeshadow or liner that I'm going to wear for the day. And I typically do it in that order just because my eyebrows are quite dark, just to kind of work with my hair colour. So actually it's nice to know when to stop on the eyeshadow. Otherwise, I've done it in the reverse order and I end up looking a little bit too dolled up for a day to day. So I just quite like doing it that way around. The eyeshadows that I wear really does depend on the kind of mood that I'm in and the day, but 9 times out of 10, it's either one of these. This is the Naked 2 Urban Decay Basics palette. I do love all the Urban Decay palettes and the larger ones, but day to day I just use the smaller ones. I just think that they're fantastic. So these are all kind of matted colours. They're not sparkly shadows like some of the longer palettes. I like using Stark, and there's a colour called Frisk as well that's really lovely. I find that these colours work very well if you've got blue eyes. And then if you were going out of an evening, actually some of these darker colours are fantastic too. So you can use the darker one as a bit of a liner and even use this one, which is called Primal. So you can add that on as well if you want. But a really, really good compact kit. The other shadow that I showed you is a MAC favourite of mine. I discovered this when I think I was about 16. Every time it runs out, I just keep buying a new one. It's called Retrospect. So this is a slightly more shimmery colour. Again, it's absolutely filthy. I'm really sorry, but you can see kind of the colours on that. It's a really neutral colour with a bit of a gold shimmer to it. So it's just lovely when it catches the light. A really nice one to have in your everyday makeup bag if you fancy a bit of a change. Some days after my eyeshadows, I'd really quite like wearing eyeliner. Other days I can leave it. But if I did want to wear it, the liner that I tend to go for is the Exaggerate Waterproof Eye Definer by Rimmel. It's just a typical, very basic sort of eyeliner actually. If you look at the price point, it's very affordable. And what I really, really like about this is that it comes with a smudger. And for me, I think that's great. So when I'm being very precise with my eyeliner, sometimes it's great. Other times you just want to mess it up a bit and it looks a bit too in place. So I really find it helpful that you've got this. You don't need to go and hunt for a cotton bud. You can just mess it up yourself. I just think that's a really handy thing to have on the product. So if I do go for liner, it tends to be this one. After the liner, if I wear it, comes the mascara, and this is one of my favourite things. So aside from brows, I really like trying out mascaras, and I really like the fact that you can get such a different look from the mascara that you choose. I think it has quite a big impact. My go-to mascara tends to be a YSL. It's the False Lash YSL mascara. It's a French title that I cannot remember off the top of my head. really all of the YSL mascaras that I've tried are very good. The Baby Doll one is very good as well. What I like about them, or at least this one, is that it's not a silicone brush, so it's really good, and it's pretty narrow actually as some ones go. It's really good for getting right into the depths of the lashes and getting some very good volume. For me, this is a good mascara that kind of does it all. It's very volumizing, but it's also good for length as well, and it's a really good jet black colour. So this is pretty hard to beat for me. It is more at the luxury end in terms of YSL and the price point that goes with that. A really good kind of high street alternative would be the Max Factor False Lash Effect. I think they're both quite similar. I just prefer to work with this wand rather than the thicker silicone based one for Max Factor, but still they get very similar results in my opinion. The other mascara that I do alternate between, it's a Bare Minerals one. It's called Lash Domination. This is a silicone brush, so a bit different. And I'm not sure if you'll be able to capture this on camera, but it's got a really interesting curve to the brush, and that really helps in creating some lift with your lashes. So actually when I use this, I never really curl my eyelashes. I tend to get quite a good curve just using the mascara. The last part of my everyday makeup routine and the things that are in and out of my everyday makeup bag pretty often are the lip products. So I do really like experimenting with lip products, lipsticks, balms, a real host of things actually. One of the main products that I really do not go away from, and I've got about 6 of these, you'll find them everywhere, dotted around my flat, in different handbags. It's the Pearly Shine Nivea Lip Balm. And what I find with these is that it is just such a good product to keep and just put on. It's great in terms of lip care, but it also gives you just a little bit of a shine. And it's just a really, really useful product to have. And it's great for the days that you actually have forgotten about a lipstick and you've just got one in your bag, and it just kind of wakes things up a bit. So it's really, really helpful. So this is a definite everyday product for me. If I do play around with lipsticks, tends to be the kind of paler shades with MAC. So Cream Cup is one of my favourites, and one of my friends actually introduced me to that. I use that religiously as well. But you know, it depends on the occasion in terms of an everyday look. Sometimes I'll try more coral colours, which I think you can work with and still look quite low-key. So that is everything that I use on a day-to-day basis. I'm actually reviewing it, it seems a lot, but that's basically all the products that sit in my everyday makeup bag. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to link to the blog posts that I mentioned below, and I hope to see you on a video soon. Thank you, bye.